All right, what is up, everyone? So, I know I missed the last couple days. For market recaps, I did do live trading windows on Wednesday and Thursday, but I missed it this morning. And, you know, obviously, I don't like that happens, but once again, kind of came to the point in the week where I could not keep up with everything. And what's the word I used earlier today? You just kind of start to feel like, I come home from like working all day, and then I have to work all night, and then trade in the morning, and then go to the gym. I go to the gym before trading. It's like it gets to the point where it's just like really, really exhausting and really hard. But with all that in mind, I have a plan going into this next week about how I can not get burnt out. Oh yeah, the word I used. I crashed out again. Once again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just they get hard for me because at that point in the week, I'm like already so exhausted and I'm not getting enough sleep. But I think I figured out part of why, a big reason why I've been crashing out. So I have a plan starting next week that I'm going to implement. I accidentally closed the dock. Dang it. Okay, I got it back. I have a plan going into this next week on how I'm going to essentially adjust it, so I adjust things so I don't crash out. I have made a plan. I'm just hoping, at the very least, I show up for trading in the morning, and back test and make a market recap. I mean, yeah. I'm just going to keep trying my best, keep going every single day. But guys, thank you all for all the support. Appreciate it. 1241 now. It's pretty good. That is very, very good. So with that, let's go ahead and start reviewing the past 3 days of price action. And it's actually kind of interesting because yesterday was so fascinating. So much opportunity. I'll show you what I mean. So I was thinking about taking a trade. I wanted to, but once again, I didn't because, I already took in a loss yesterday on Thursday, but I thought this was so interesting. Look at this, right? We have, let's see if I can find it. We had SMT with previous week's high. You see this? This was so fascinating. SMT with previous week's high. Where was this previous week's high? Yeah. Where S&P takes out previous week's high and NASDAQ does not. So, what is that? That's sequential SMT, right? So, let's put this in the middle again. Previous week's high. Wait, I might need to make a new template for this actually. I think this is so cool though. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. Once I get. Alright. Once I get this set up, so I need to switch this to previous week's high S&P. So, let's save that template. So, check this out, right? If I mark out, what's our quarterly theory true open for the month? Check this out. It's where is it? Look at this. True month open. Look at this. It's right here for the month. If you drag this out, Look at how the market remembers this. Look at that. That is essentially going to be the midnight of the weekly range. Does that make sense? So check this out. So I'm gonna put this as, and I noticed this all last night actually. So let's save this template. So you guys see how this was a useful reference point for detecting the manipulation. And guys, the craziest part about this is I actually outlined this as a possibility on stream, I think like 2 weeks ago with a random guy. And we noticed this and we're like, if this happened, that would be crazy. And it's like it's happening exactly as we thought. Which is just so insane. But then we get 4 hour CRT, right? Off of this. And so I was thinking, yo, 4 hour CRT rejecting this true month open with previous week's high SMT. I saved this correctly. Yeah. You see this, right? This giant initial candle range. So I saw this, and I thought, okay, we swept out previous week's high. Honestly, pretty good chance we go down to previous week's low. I saw this last night. Unfortunately, I didn't do anything about it, but I probably should have, right? So I kind of want to see, was there opportunity here? Right? You see what I'm saying? The manipulation occurred right here, right above previous week's high. You see what I'm saying? And then we close back within the range, and we also sweep out this high. So this is essentially what I'm thinking, right? Is, yeah, sweep of this high. I'm gonna actually put this in the Discord because I think this is that interesting. I really did call this out. If you don't believe me, I'm gonna go up to Discord, right? I said we were getting SMT with previous week's high. We have 4 hour CRT. Dude, so someone spammed the server, and now because of it, here, let me switch my screen. Now because of it, now these won't go away. There's little red dots inside of the voice channels, and they won't go away. I might just delete them and remake them. But, okay. Let's go ahead and screenshot this. I think this is so interesting. I literally called this out, guys. And also, right, another reason for why I was expecting the CRT to work is because look at the liquidity that's right beneath this. Giant, massive liquidity pool right at the CRT low. So conceptually, from a liquidity point of view, this idea made sense. You see what I'm saying? That's why I thought this was likely to work. So See what I'm saying? Now, I'm gonna. Oh, you can't see my screen. I'm gonna reply to myself. So last night, here it was. Not that's too far. That's too far. Guys, okay, I was like, we saw. I was like, this daily IFG could be inducing people to go long. We swept True Month open with previous week's high SMT, also giant 4-hour SMT. So. Yeah, man, I called this out live. You see what I'm saying? Like, we got SMT with previous week's high, then we sweep out. I don't know if you can see my screen. SMT with previous week's high, we sweep out that high, 4-hour CRT. So let's go ahead and put this in my notes for, I guess, what would it be? Either Thursday or Friday, to be honest. Let's put it in Friday. We don't have a folder for Thursday because I literally crashed out, but 8:29 to 25, 8:29, 25 Friday, and then let's go ahead and save the screenshot as previous week's high SMT with True Month open and 4-hour CRT. This was so beautiful, genuinely. Like, guys, so beautiful. So then at this point, right, you could say, okay, let's mark out the close here. So the Genesis model is basically enter at the close of the CRT. Whew. You see how perfect that is? The Genesis model right there. Genesis model is literally just enter at the close of the CRT. Or the close or the open. Whichever one makes more sense. So, ooh, wait. This is actually so interesting. So, we get the CRT going into the market's close. And then market opens. Instantaneous dump. Actually, let's see where it opened. Yeah, wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we don't really get opportunity to get in above the close, actually. It literally instantly dumps. Wow. So, okay, I'm kind of wondering, okay, how could we have gotten in? Because you couldn't enter on the Genesis model. You'd have to enter off of something else. So, back to the 4-hour. It becomes very obvious that it's CRT when this candle closes at 22. Yeah, one way is you could enter on a retracement back to, let's see. Yeah, we have premium of this range. So 22 is when this candle closes. So this is that new candle. This is this point. Random guy, what's up, dude? I was just talking about you. I was talking about how we literally called this, random guy. You remember we called this? I think it was like, I don't know. It was like earlier this week or last week where we were like, what if we swept out the True Month Open? And then we went lower with SMT. We literally called this. And then, I don't know, now it's like a week later, and it's exactly what happened. I think the other thing we were thinking is the Reaper would end up getting held here. Actually, let's go ahead and see if that happened, right? We were actually thinking it was like, we were like thinking this Reaper gap was going to get held. And you're like, yes, if that happens, it's full port. You remember this? You entered? You entered it? No way. You entered it? Yeah, we were talking about this. Look at this. Look at this. We literally called this out on stream. Like, yeah, it was literally like a week ago. You remember that? I wish I could clip this because I don't remember which stream it was, but we called this out. Not full port. Oh dang. Yeah, this is crazy. We literally knew. We knew. Oh, okay, I have to respond. I didn't see Boring Dude's thing. Hi, I have a question. Let's say I take a trade when in daily shows bullish bias. Then in 1 hour, I wait till it gives CSD. Then I enter in the 5 minute. I'm struggling in entering. I think you're getting too caught up in like, oh, the daily's bullish, so this is exactly what has to happen, and the 4 hours doing this, the 1 hour, like, I would tune all that out because a lot of that is noise. I think, Boring Dude, what you gotta do is just focus on the draw and liquidity. Like, sure, like knowing if the bias is bullish, bearish, all that stuff is helpful, but at the end of the day, the draw and liquidity is going to tell you that. So, for instance, right, going into last night, we had a 4 hour CRT, we had SMT with this high, and we had, if I measure this range out, you can see how this was a giant liquidity pool, right? So all the way from here to here, you can be bearish to target that liquidity pool. So it's not necessarily like you have to treat things like mechanically all the time. It's more or less just like combining what you know and yeah, I would just stop listening to people who are saying, oh, the 4 hour structure is bullish, you have to do this trade. Like, just focus on the draw and liquidity, and if you can focus on the draw and liquidity, everything else falls into place. You don't need to think about 7 different structures on each time frame. It's going to hurt your head. Just focus on the draw and liquidity, and then everything else falls into place. You know what I'm saying? Just where's the liquidity? Where's the market drawing to? And then that's all you need. That's all you need. If you can figure that out, you don't need to worry about all the other stuff. So, that's what I'd recommend. Decent 2R. Dude, random guy. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. But yeah, like, we said this. We said this a while ago. I kind of want to see if we can find it on stream, because I remember we talked about this. I just don't know what day. Yeah, I'm glad. I hope that helped. Random guys, should we try and find the clip of us talking about this? Yeah, just focus on draw and liquidity, and everything else comes out. Like, everything else, yeah, you can figure everything else based off of that. Yeah, let's screenshot this, and then let's try and find the clip. Yeah, let's find the clip, because we called this out, man. Like, this is so crazy. We called this out. all the way back here. Like, this is how you know that we're going to be good traders, because we we are able to predict exactly what's going to happen, like, literally 3 days ago. So yeah, Reaper, fair value gap as well. Yeah, I think it was when I was doing pre-market analysis, and it was like one of the mornings. I'm just gonna skip through. Yeah, that's actually insane. Oh, there's 5 watching. That's a lot. Yeah, guys. Once again, I want to re-say what I said at the beginning, because now there's more people watching. Where's the button to make this bigger? Where's the button? I know, once again, I kind of crashed out this week. I did not make the market recaps every single day. Very, not super happy about that. That's not what I want. But the thing about it is, I am going into this next week. I do have an idea of what the issue is, and so I have a plan going into this next week on how I can fine-tune some of that stuff. So I really do stream every day. I know I missed streaming this morning. Past that, the 4 days before that, I did stream every day. So, one day at a time. But, guys, I hope next week I can make some tweaks this weekend. And then, hopefully, because my main issue is I overwork myself. I'm working all day. I go to the gym before trading. I trade. And then I work all day at work. And then I come home, market recap, backtest, short form video. And then I'm collapsed, right? So my plan is trying to find times to have breaks, and then a couple other things I'm going to tweak here and there. But I think ideally, I'd like to just not have that happen. I'd like to not crash out. So I'm going to be thinking about that this weekend, trying to figure out ways I could adjust that. But anyway, what's up, FA? I just wanted to talk about that because more people are watching now. We're trying to look for, we literally called this entire move like 3 days ago. It's crazy. We said that we could come up, sweep the True Month Open into the Reaper, and then dump. And I'm trying to find the clip. So I'm gonna go look. Oh, and guys, I also put money in my TradeEvade account, personal account, so I'm going to slowly grow that. I'm going to probably do like $10 a trade. But I want to practice trading personal account, and I'm going to treat it exactly like all my other accounts, so yeah. But I don't want to be reliant on prop firms in the long run, So I think starting it now makes sense. Okay, genuinely, what's wrong with me? Why can't I figure out where the button is to switch the screen? Oh. Okay. Right. Let's find this, because I think this is so cool. It wasn't that day. I think it was this day. Yeah, look at this. I planned this whole thing out. I planned it all out. It's like, hey, plan the whole thing out. I was like, well, we have a 2022 4-hour for value gap. We have Reaper for value gap, previous month's high. Look at this.
Actually, no. Right.
Look at that. That is the coolest thing. You guys see that? Alright, we're going to screenshot this. Wait, I wonder if I have a better diagram. Remember 2619? Yeah, that was genuinely insane. Random guy. It's just like crazy. Like we knew that was gonna be likely gonna be a place it was gonna reverse because Reaper gap overlapped with the new week opening gap right above the true month open. And it was at the top of the 2022 gap after we broke structure in premium. And I was also just conceptualizing like, wow, once we get up here, everyone's going to want a full port to these LRLR, and that's going to induce people to go long to then send price lower. You get what I'm saying? We're conceptualizing why we think what was going to happen. And, dude, it's like perfect. It's so perfect. Let's actually screenshot this. This is so cool. I mean, we called this. This is so cool. Wait, let's find a picture of me. Yeah, let's do it with me. Did you stream this Friday? I didn't stream. That's the thing I was just getting at. I messed up. I crashed out this week. And I did not stream today, and which is Friday, and I'm not happy about it, but you know what? Whatever. We're just gonna keep moving on, and like I said, I'm just gonna keep tweaking things. I'm gonna keep making things better so I don't get burnt out. But I did kind of crash out and burn out, unfortunately. So yeah, dude, I know it's just not ideal, but you know what? We're just gonna keep getting better. Once again, I think I know this weekend I'm gonna tweak some things to figure out what I need to change so that doesn't happen anymore. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is crazy. Let's go ahead and put this in the Friday folder as well. I mean, there's something to that. The True Month Open, there is something to the True Month Open. 100%. 100%. Official market maker. Yeah, man, there's something to the True Month Opens and the previous week's high SMTs. Like that, people who don't say that there's not, guys, come on, dude. No way there's not. Like, what? No, that is so cool. Okay, there we go. Let's save it. Yeah, one day at a time. Hopefully in the future, I get better and I don't have it happen. I think once again, I think I know the solution. I'm gonna make some tweaks this weekend and some new rules to basically prevent me from spiraling, hopefully, in the middle of the week. And so I think making a few rules here and there to prevent spiraling is gonna help me a lot. So okay, this was prediction from Tuesday. I mean, genuinely, that was pretty cool. Let's see how many people are watching, if any. 3 watching. Let's go. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the market more. Once again, we kind of saw this whole thing before it happened. Dropping down lower time frame. So this was honestly, I would say you could use the Reaper as a PD array, right? We could use this Reaper gap as a 15-minute PD array. This is how I would take a trade if I could redo this. if I was to redo this, I would go 15-minute Reaper, liquidity sweep with previous week's high S&T. So, once again, we can use the Reaper as a PD ray. So then we drop down to the 1 minute, because the 1 minute aligns with the 15-minute. And why is it a 15-minute Reaper? Because it's a 15-minute for value gap. It's literally just common sense. That's a 15-minute gap, so it's 15-minute PD ray. So now, drag this over, right? We can use this as a PD ray for flow state. 15-minute Reaper. Bring this over. So now let's see if we have 1 minute change in state here. Now once again, you want to wait till you're on the sell side of the curve. Here it's not obvious yet that we are. There's a lot of different ones. Honestly, maybe you could do... I guess the CRT wouldn't have formed yet, huh? I guess it's not so simple, but this is a nice change state delivery retest. So let's just say that we took this as a change state delivery retest, right? You see how we sweep these equal highs? So this is probably what I would do. I wouldn't take this as a flow state. I would just take this as a change state delivery retest, where 1 minute change in state. Then obviously when we retest this with this violent momentum, I'm expecting displacement lower. So I would enter via limit order of the change state delivery retest. I wouldn't even try and frame it with a key level, because once again, I can just if I know the drawn liquidity and the momentum, I can just take a change state delivery retest. So 1 minute change state, and honestly, I'd put stop like probably like above the order block here. Or maybe, actually, you could go a little aggressive, I'm not going to lie. Because once again, with this much momentum, we should not return. And then you could use this 1 minute change in state delivery entry to basically ride it all the way to the CRT low. As crazy as that sounds, I really do think you could. So what time was this at? 15, wow, that was right at market close. Once again, I'm not scared of market open and market close. They deliver price towards where it wants to go. So I'm not scared if market's closing or market's opening, because I understand the market's just going to move towards the drawn liquidity. And so why would I be scared? So this was Thursday at 15:57. Just a 1 minute CISD retest. So 8/28 Thursday. 8-28-25 Thursday. Let's go ahead and put this in there as a CISD retest. 15:57 CISD retest 1 minute. And I'm calling it CISD because I'm not aligning it with a PD ray. I'm just taking it as a CISD retest because of the liquidity, because I know the drawn liquidity is these low resistance lows. So once again, I'm not gonna try and go into it all. But then the cool thing about this is you can use this entry for the entire day. I think this is so cool, right? You could take that entry and then ride it all the way down to the liquidity pool. That would be 20-1. If taken down to the CRT low. So that's one way you could have taken this. Once again, I had conviction that we were going to go to the CRT low. That's why I'm saying that. So let's save this as like down to the CRT low. Okay. What other ways could you have entered this? I'm curious. Man. Honestly, I do not want to make the market recap today. I don't know if I will. Let's see. Maybe the Reaper's a bad PD ray to use. It actually might not be the best. Might be better to use this order block, right? This is a 4-hour order block. Or maybe, ooh, this is probably a good order block actually. It's the highest up close candle before the move lower, right? Same concept as breakers. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh, I'm finally starting to understand order blocks better, right? Right, you see what I'm saying? This order block is the highest up close candle before the move lower. This one's gonna be the one you want to use. This is the one the market's going to refer back to. So the highest up close candle before the move lower. Genuinely insane. Isn't this insane, random guy? Look at that. Look at that. That is the OB you want to use. That's the highest up close candle before the move lower. Let's go ahead and screenshot that. So now I do actually have a PD ray. I actually do. I thought I didn't, but I do. We actually do have a PD ray we can use for the flow state trade. It is this 15-minute order block. And now, when you look at it like this, all of a sudden now it makes way more sense. Good 15-minute OB. Dream snare is like 1 out of 1,000. Wait, like 1 to 1,000 RR? What do you mean 1 out of 1,000? Yeah, look at that. 15-minute order block, perfectly filled. Perfectly filled, guys. Oh my gosh, dude. And the thing about this is we already knew this was already going to be a likely reversal area. We already knew. No chances? What do you mean? Wait, no chances what? Wait, what? Yeah, previous week's high SMT. No comma chances. I'm lost. I don't know what you're saying. But yeah, once again, that 15-minute OB, this is like genuinely, like, you can't get more perfect than this. Look how we fill the order block, 1 minute change in state. Look at how perfectly the market remembers this. It remembers the change in state. Well, not even remembers, it uses it. Right? 15-minute order block, 1 minute change in state, and a liquidity sweep. This is flow state at its finest, guys. This is flow state in its absolute prime, right? This is flow state when it's going to the Olympics. 0.1%? 0.1% of what? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I still don't know what you're saying. What does the 0.1% mean? But yeah, manipulation, and then, oh, I'm so curious. I want to measure out standard deviations. I want to measure out standard deviations. I get so sidetracked. We should be looking at realistic trades, but then here I am. measuring us out. It's okay. Sorry. Oh my, it's perfect. These markets are perfect, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh man. 2 to 2.25. This is market making right here. This is market making. 2, 3 is hit, 4 is hit. The market is moving off of flow state. Oh my, people actually think this market's not an algorithm, bro. People actually think that. Most people think that. Bro, what are you talking about? What are you thinking? This is perfect. These markets are perfect. So stupid. Whoever actually thinks that, and which is most of the world, is actually kind of dumb. Because look at this. 2, 3, 4, 8. Bro. Oh my gosh. You see this? Bro. People think this thing is random. Oh my gosh. People really think this is random. They probably haven't even looked at a futures chart in their life. Most of the world thinks this is random. This is just hilarious. This is so funny. I mean, that's literally perfect. That is literally perfect. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's genuinely insane. Like if you got a stat major to do like computations of the probability that it could perfectly hit 2, 3, 4, 8 and react off of every single one within a perfectly framed model that we called 3 days before it happened. At some point you just have to ask yourself and say, alright, fine, I'm wrong. The markets aren't random. Because like this is too perfect. Oh my. So yeah, this was a really nice sell model. This is honestly the trade of the week. Basically, what this trade is basically saying I'm expecting TGIF going into Friday, so I'm going to take this trade going into Friday. That's what this trade is. You're basically saying I'm thinking we're going to get TGIF tomorrow. I'm going to get an entry going into tomorrow. And then bang. So this is the TGIF trade right here. Bang. And then where's the CRT low? Right there. And I want to see if we hit the 16th standard deviation, just out of curiosity. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm screenshotting this. Yeah, I feel like this deserves a video, I'm not gonna lie. Just a moment, we're waiting for your image. What do you mean waiting for my... This has never happened before. Why? Snipping tool. Come on, man. You never do this to me. Alright. Put this in Friday. Oh my gosh. I'm putting this in the Discord. It's kind of funny. Anyway, yeah, let's see if it goes to the 16th standard deviation. I've never even measured out the 16th standard deviation, but I don't know, man. I just kind of have a feeling it's going to go there. I don't know. So, an easy way to do this is I can just take this from here to here and just do that. And all of a sudden now we have a way to measure it without having to draw a whole nother one out. Wait, is that right? No, it's not. This is gonna be the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, the 9th, the 11th, the 13th, the 15th, the 17th. Okay, so the 16th is gonna be needing to be in the middle of these two. The 16th would be right in the middle. Of these two, I think. I mean, it's decent. It's decent. Oh my gosh. Dang, bro. Anyway, moving on. I guess let's look at something else now. I mean, there's a million things. The crazy thing about trading is there's a million things that you can look at. Like, it never ends. The opportunities never end. But the issue is waiting for them, you know. I'm kind of curious. Is there anyone watching? Let's refresh the page. One watching. Yeah, I need to make the market recap. Maybe, actually, you know what? I think I'll make the market recap like on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. I just don't want to make it right now. So let's keep looking around though. I'm like kind of enjoying looking around. It's chill. I'm the one. Let's go. Random guy's the one. Yeah, I think I'll make the market recap because like that is too perfect to not cover, at least in a market recap. That deserves its own episode. How perfect that was. But I think I'm not gonna make it till later because it's literally Friday and I don't know. I want a break. But yeah. basically throughout all this, we knew the market would be drawing to that CRT low. Let's go back out to the 4 hour, right? Once we get this 4 hour CRT, once again, this first candle is the candle range. We wick up and then close back within it on the second candle. So then we know candles 3, 4, 5, 6, and beyond are going to drive us down to here. And as well, right, I would honestly consider this, personally, I would consider this the end of the candle range. Because it's not so less a specific candle range as it is a move higher. Because once again, these three are basically one candle on the higher time frame. So you could even consider this the end of the candle range. So once again, that was kind of like the draw on liquidity. So then all through here, we're just basically taking shorts. Because we're using that CRT for bias, and we just take shorts. Take shorts, take shots. Just kidding. Every time you short, you take a shot. Just kidding. Okay. So then, how could we actually get in? Because I was looking at this last night. I noted that we were gonna get this move lower, but I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't sure how to enter, and so that's something we need to fix, right? Because I knew that we were driving down to the CRT low last night. I did. I called it out live. But I couldn't figure out how to enter. That was my issue. I could not figure out what was the right way to enter. So let's try and figure this out, right? We had a new day opening gap. The market did not come back there. But new week opening gap. So yeah. Let's pretend it's the middle of the night. Let's pretend it's an Asia session. How could we have gotten short here? Well, we're going to need to get some kind of, either an inverse or value gap or some kind of PD array. One option, I guess, is we have a 30-minute gap. It's not a 1 hour gap. So with a 30-minute gap, okay, the only thing is it's not in premium. Maybe it's a 5-minute gap. Somewhat a 15-minute gap. I guess you could combine these two candles and make this one gap, huh? Let's just do that. So let's say we combine these two candles and make this one 15-minute gap. So I guess this is how you could take this trade. And actually, I'd mark out the gap like this. Maybe even like this. So now we have that true imbalance, right? Actually, let's look at it on this chart because I want to be able to check for SMTs. So 15-minute gap. That was on Friday. July? How did I get all the way back to July? Okay. Whoops. Yeah, so only issue is it's like it's not an obvious gap for sure. But I guess I like that this is, you know, kind of like a BPR, I guess. Anyway, doesn't have to be perfect. 15-minute gap. And I bet you there was SMT. This probably was almost certainly SMT, right? So higher high, higher high. I actually don't see an obvious SMT. Well, it doesn't have to have a perfect one. right? Liquidity sweep of these equal highs. So we can say, okay, that was the manipulation, right? So manipulation. Then we wait for an obvious change to delivery. For me, that happens right here. That's what I would wait for. Once again, sure, you could take any of those, but at that point, it's not an obvious change to delivery, so I wouldn't do anything, personally. This is obvious. So 1 minute change of state. Also, it's a fair value gap. So bang, equal highs. So equal highs swept. 1 minute change in state. Same thing. We get our entry. This is the obvious change in state. That's why I'm marking it out. And then at this point, right, we have low resistance lows. And you could actually take this like this with the stop loss above this high if you wanted to. Look at that. Just beautiful. Wow. People really think this is random, huh? Bro. You ever feel like just like a little kid? Just how so perfect. Oh my gosh. Bro. People think this is random. Bro. I'm never gonna understand it. Never gonna understand it. Down to the 8th standard deviation as well. Dang. People really think this is random. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, I put stop above that high since that's the recent manipulation leg. Okay, there we go. So what time is this? 21? 21:01. I'm considering going to the sand dunes tonight. Again, I went to the sand dunes again last week on Friday, and that was so fun. And I know I don't have like a ton of friends, but like even just going by myself is like actually such a vibe. So I'm thinking about going again, and if I go, I might actually backtest at the sand dunes. I think that'd be such a vibe. Did I not snip this? Hello. So 21:01. I must have not snipped it. But yeah, I'm thinking about going to sand dunes again. That was fun. Okay. 21:01. This was on Friday, right? Thursday. I don't know. Would I consider this Thursday or Friday? I mean, it's literally Thursday, but Friday's trading session. It doesn't really matter. Let's just make an executive decision. I don't know. I actually I feel like it should be part of Friday, but technically it was on Thursday. I guess I'll put it in Thursday, so that way it's it actually is the exact day that it happened. 21:01. Flow state retest. 15-minute, 1 minute. Alright, let's see if there's anyone watching now. One watching, let's go. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. But yeah, I am thinking about going to the sand dunes later. I think that'd be chill. Once again, I don't really have any friends, so just kind of need to find stuff to do, even if it's by myself. So, but yeah, once again, we're basically throughout all this just looking. Okay, how can we get an entry? Once again, maybe. What was this? A 1 hour gap? Ooh, now see, 1 hour gap, this is really obvious. We actually maybe could have gotten entry within here. So 1 hour for buy gap. Once again, we knew the bias, we knew the draw on liquidity. So 1 hour gap. Liquidity sweep. Wait. Does that... Once again, remember how I said sometimes you can... Every order block... Remember when I was saying order blocks are change state deliveries and change state deliveries are order blocks? So, this is, once again, the highest up close candle, 5-minute change of state. You see how that perfectly hit the high? And it was an inducement? Oh my gosh. That's pretty cool. 1 hour for buy gap, 5-minute change in state. Once again, because I like, there's not an obvious change in state within this price leg. So because of that, I'm looking at, okay, what's the highest up close candle? And maybe and within here, I don't know. There's not really anything. So I'd do this. Let me induce this high. Now you can measure out this order block. And project it out. So measure this order block out. Oh my gosh. Wow. Who knew an order block could be so violent? And oh, it was also ST. That was another reason why. I guess it's also Phoenix model, huh? I mean, we have this rejection block. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, just a thought. Right. Basically saying that highest up close candle, since there's no obvious change state delivery, was no obvious CSD within the price leg up that takes liquidity. I am just using the highest up close candle as the CISD. So once again, a change day delivery is literally an order block. So if an order block is this, on the lower time frame, it's just a high, low, higher, high, lower, low. So it steers down close candles that technically on the low time frame exist as a change of state. Yeah. Once again, and we paired our entry with an inducement, which is kind of cool. $310. $310 flow state retest 1 hour 5 minute. Now it's not the most obvious thing, but once again, I'm just kind of taking notes and observing. So let's see if there's anyone watching now. Probably no one. Oh, it's a thing. There's 2 watching now. So as well, this is like a liquidity sweep, break a structure, fair value gap, right? Sweep, break a structure, fair value gap, and premium. Anyway, this is probably not that obvious, so I should probably just delete it. But this was a 1 hour gap. So maybe Can I explain my trade from today? I didn't take a trade today. I was off the charts. I was taking a break from the charts today. But my favorite trade of the day was a trade that would have happened last night in London session. So, or in Asian session. So what I would use is I would use this highest up close candle right here as my key level. So that would be, well, the key level I'd use would be this high step close candle before this move lower. That's a order block. So bang. This I think was the trade of the day. Basically anticipating, right? We had SMT with previous week's high here. The CRT to form to go target the data low, right? So this would be a crazy RR trade, but I think this would be really cool. You see that's data low. So we had previous week's high SMT within this 15-minute order block. And then we get a very obvious liquidity sweep and then a line time frame change to delivery, right? That happens here. We sweep out these equal highs and then 1 minute change in state. So this happened actually yesterday at close. And then you can see we go from that 1 minute change in state. This is a really obvious change in state, right? We go from there all the way down to the data low. You should do a vid teaching PD array matrix. Yeah, I need to do a vid on PD arrays. Yeah, and I guess the PDRA matrix in general. But yeah, I just find this so fascinating. We go right from that 1 minute change in state when we get that previous week's high SMT, and we go down to the data low, which ultimately became the draw on liquidity. Maybe, that we might have used the Reaper gap in here. It's so crazy because all these concepts basically combine at the end of the day. Like, the market's perfect. Everything overlaps with everything, and it's just so cool how, I don't know, the market as a whole collective makes everything align so well. You know what I mean? That's what I mean when I say the market's perfect. You see what I'm saying? Like, that was that Reaper gap. It's just crazy how the market as a whole, as a collective, is so perfect that, like, even things you wouldn't even think are gonna hold, they end up holding. Oh, random guy's still here. Let's go. So once again, here's that breaker. And then there's that Reaper gap. And so, as always, we can take a change in state delivery out of a Reaper gap. So, bang, change in state delivery off of the Reaper, and we go lower. Once again. The obvious one happens here. I just find that so cool. So let's go ahead and screenshot that. So yeah. Reaper gap of, so one cool thing about the Reaper that I'm noticing just now because of this specific situation is the breaker actually doesn't need to close yet for it to be a Reaper gap. And I'll show you what I mean. So Reaper gap of breaker of breaker. So what do I mean by that? Well, look at this. The breaker on the 15-minute, it's these series of down close candles, right? We have not gotten a candle body close below the low of the series of down close candles here. So because of that, there's no, the breaker is not confirmed yet, but yet the Reaper gap is still held before the breaker is confirmed. How cool is that? Like, that is mind-blowing. So even if the breaker's not formed yet, the Reaper gap can still hold. Meaning, like, we have not gotten a candle body close below the breaker, but yet the Reaper gap still held. So interesting. So it's not technically a breaker yet, right? Technically, I don't know what it is, but it's not a breaker yet because we haven't closed below. But the Reaper still held, which is kind of cool. Breaker not closed below yet, but Reaper gap still held. Kind of have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. We'll see how many people are watching. One watching. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Alright, I'm back. So, yeah, I mean, this is also, I'm just now noticing this, right? This is the perfect example of high resistance liquidity looking low resistance to fake people out when it's actually high resistance, and then it rejects price. It's another thing that happens all the time, right? Like, people think, oh, this is low resistance liquidity. But no, it is not low resistance liquidity. Psych, it is actually high resistance, meaning support and resistance traders are banking, right? Because support and resistance traders are saying, okay, every time we tap this line, let's go short. And, well, it's working out because it's high resistant liquidity conditions. And so, yeah, it goes to show the market's not going to be low resistance liquidity until we get to the other side of a curve. So, pay attention to this. So yeah, kind of cool. High resistance liquidity conditions support and resistance traders bank. Okay, let's see, what else should we look at? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I guess we should look at price action for Friday in general, right? Looks like 8:30 was the manipulation. So this is very important, right? Figure out where manipulation was and then where distribution is. And here in this case, 8:30 manipulated and 9:30 distributed. Like, there was no Judas swing today. In this specific situation, 8:30 manipulated and 9:30 distributed. You see what I'm saying? And so people always say, oh, 9:30 always is going to manipulate. Like, no, that's not true. It's based off the context. And in this context, 8:30 manipulated. Right? And one thing you'll note is we have SMT with this high. So 8:30 manipulated with a London high. So not London's high, but with a London high. Meaning a high that was inside of London, but not the high of London. So this is called partial sequential SMT. So this is, I'll note this with percent signs. So I just barely started doing this. It's not something I've talked about a lot. But bang, partial London's SMT. And so, yeah, see what I'm saying? 8:30 ended up being the manipulation, and then 9:30 distributed. Accumulation, 8:30 manipulated. And then 9:30 distributed. Kind of cool, right? Let's go ahead and screenshot this. So (8:30) manipulated today, 9:30 distributed. Yeah, now we can look. I mean, the cool thing about 9:30 is you could probably get a micro scalp off of 9:30 because on the low time frame, it's another AMD cycle. Meaning we have, a sweep of all these highs, triple equal highs. So honestly, I would definitely try this as a micro scalp. I don't know about on my real account, but maybe on demo, maybe my real account. Just kind of depends, right? But we have triple equal highs, obvious accumulation. Rejection block. See, here's the thing about the rejection block is anyway, we have S&T with YM. So maybe I would, since I don't see a key level to use, I think I might just take this as a change instead delivery. You get what I'm saying? Right, so as long as you can tell it's accumulation, manipulation, distribution, just it's same as an inverse value gap. We can just take a change state to go target liquidity. So it's accumulation, manipulation, and then maybe like 15-second. Wow, yeah. The only thing is, if you entered on this, you would probably got stopped. I'd probably get stopped out. But then if you entered it again on this one, then that actually would have worked out. So, anyway, kind of interesting. You'd have to have your stop all the way at that high. So maybe you would, right? Maybe you'd have your stop loss at the actual high. Very reasonable thing to do. But a good chance I could get stopped out on that. Oh, look at OT. Look at OT. Just beautiful. And then 4th hit, and then 8th hit. So, one thing you could have done is you might not have entered right away and then entered, but yeah. Anyway, let's just assume that you entered right at the retest. Once again, good chance I'd get stopped out here. I'm just being honest. key here is also knowing higher time frame bias, because we knew the bias was bearish. So, you know, shorts would just be higher probability. So this would be 929. Once again, decent chance I'd get stopped out, but just gonna show it anyway. 929 CISD retest, since I don't know where the key level is, and then on the 15-second. See if there's anyone watching. Oh, nice. There's two. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make the market recap tomorrow, or yeah, probably tomorrow sometime. I don't know when, but not right now. You definitely also could take this as a 1 minute change in state. It looks decent. It's also an inverse for value gap. So let's just say you took it as an inverse for value gap, right? It looks decent, right? Inverse for value gap. Maybe you want to take it as a 2 minute one. Yeah, no, that's not there. So 1 minute one. So yeah, just an inverse for value gap here. And honestly, right, I think when I see this, I would consider taking a Jan entry. So I'd probably enter on a Jan entry, meaning I wait for a little bit of a retrace and put stop at the actual high. Right, I'm just trying to think of what I would actually do, and I think that makes sense. That'd be kind of cool. Oh, we should put the sweep in there. Guys, I'm so much better at backtesting than I am trading. But that's okay. One day at a time. 930. IFVG-J on the 1 minute. Okay. I guess there was a 15-minute gap here. So you could take this 15-minute gap and we could take flow state off of it. That's actually pretty clean, I'm not going to lie. Look at how the bodies respect that. So 15-minute for value gap. Now it'd be kind of tricky because we come all the way through. Once again, you got to wait for the model to be on the sell side of the curve. So it's not easier said than done, but so 15-minute for value gap. And then, 1 minute change state delivery becomes somewhat obvious right here. So I'll probably take this. Once again, stop at the end of the bodies. Let me have clear AMD. Oh, someone says something. Hey Javier, how's it going, bro? I still need to respond to your DMs, but I see them. Sometimes I forget to respond to them. But I really do think all the stuff you send me is so cool. I still need to understand the stuff you're sending me a little better, but I think it's super sick. I'm not gonna lie. Because, like, if it's the exact same trade FA took, dude, FA's probably using it. You know what I mean? Yeah, 50-minute for buy gap, liquidity sweep. Once again, accumulation. Very obvious accumulation here. Manipulation of these triple equal highs. And then distribution. So this is tricky because you would be very close to getting stopped out, but it actually wouldn't have stopped you out. So that's kind of cool. Obviously, it kind of depends where you put your stop loss, but... And then if you put a trailing stop in, that's where this gets really fun because you could have made a lot. Could have made a whole lot. Once again, the secret is just finding AMD cycles. Not gonna lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I think I would not recommend using Apex. I shouldn't say that live on stream, actually. Okay, but the fact that they've been ignoring my emails, 5-6 emails in a row now, I'm sussed out. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know. If they were in the best interest of the trader, they would not be doing that. So I don't know. But my account's been on review now. I've emailed them 5 or 6 times, and it's like, did I say months? I meant 5 or 6 times. But it's just kind of frustrating. I mean, I want to support them. I want them to be trustworthy and honest, but they're kind of ignoring me right now, and it's not the best look. I'm not gonna lie. 9:30. Flow state retest. 15-minute, 1 minute. I think that's what this is, right? Yeah. I still can't read your message. That's crazy they are doing that, bro. Well, it's like, because I do actually want to have a good relationship with Apex. I think they're supposed to be one of the biggest and most reputable firms. But they have no support phone number. So I've tried looking at that, couldn't find one, and they have one email, and I've emailed the email like 5, maybe 6 times now. And the first couple times they responded to me and they're like, yeah, you're on a wait list, you're just going to have to wait. I'm like, how long? Like, when are you guys going to figure this out? Because I want to be able to, get more evals. And then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th times that I've emailed them, nothing. And, like, to show that I'm, like, being serious, like, first let's start out with trying to figure out if they have a phone number. Because, once again, I've looked. Apex, Trader, Funding, support phone number. I've literally looked. Yeah, this is what I mean when I say I just don't know if they're in the best interest of the trader. Maybe there is a support phone number. I hope that there is. I really do. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm probably gonna dip soon too. but there might be a support phone number. I might actually be wrong about that. Oh, there is. Okay, I was wrong. There is. Okay, I gotta call their support then. So, but like, just to show you what I'm talking about with the Actually, I should save this phone number. I'm gonna screenshot it right now, just so I don't lose it. Like, it sucks because I've missed out on two 90% off sales now because of this, and I've been waiting for them to get back to me, and they just don't. So I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna call them later. So yeah, watch this. Apex. And then I go to send. So this is the most recent one. That's okay. That's not the most recent. This is the fourth time. I'd sent another one more recent, but this is the fourth time. This was on August 11th. I sent, I think, a fifth one and a sixth one. August 4th. Is there any update? Hey, what else did you do? This was the second time. This was on July 31st. Guys, it's been over a month. They're like, this is such a pain. Like, I sent this, the first time I messaged them was the 25th of July. And then I have another one that I sent. I'm pretty sure I sent a fifth one recently as well. Oh, I sent the fifth one. I tried it differently. I sent the fifth one in the actual support on their on their website, because I wasn't sure if that was gonna make a difference or not. So whatever. Like, I don't know. I was just hoping that they're just gonna email me back, and they haven't. So maybe we should try emailing them again. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm trying to give Apex the benefit of the doubt because, they're a big firm. They're supposedly reputable. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I've been emailing the wrong email. Maybe I've been doing something incorrectly. And honestly, I don't even mind the rules too much because, they're just part of being a good, consistent trader, right? You should have consistency. You shouldn't let an open trade go 30% in drawdown. You shouldn't randomly switch your contract size all the time. Like, those are all reasonable things. Like, I don't really care too much about their rules. But what I do care about is, why are they ignoring me? Why are they ignoring my emails? And I'm just hoping that it's just like an accident. But, man, I've been trying to contact them for a month. And, like, I try and buy these. I could go to my Apex dashboard, but I'm probably not going to do that. But whenever I go to the Apex dashboard and I click buy accounts, it says invalid or something. And I'm like, why? Makes me very suspicious that, like, maybe my account got flagged in their system and they think, like, I could run them for a lot of money. And so they're like, okay, this trader we're kind of scared of. Let's make sure you can't buy any more evals. I think that'd be crazy, but like, I'm not gonna lie, is that possible? Maybe, dude. They might literally have a system that detects traders that could possibly run them a bag, and they just say, okay, make sure that person doesn't buy any more evals, and if they email us, just ignore them. I don't know, though. I really hope that's not true. Now that I've found this phone number, this is a good thing, and I'm definitely going to call them on Monday, but yeah, that is nice. Top Step is nice, man. I'm liking Top Step so far. I got some evals with them, so I actually think I'm gonna end the stream here. There's there's more to review, but I might review more tomorrow. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. Let's see how many people are all watching now. But yeah, with that, I think I'm gonna end the stream. Yeah, one watching. I'm gonna end the stream here. Getting kind of tired. I will see you guys. Whoops. Is it gonna let me make the screen go big? I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.